Welcome to Optimal Timelines. My name is Sean, and this is going to be your January 2026 tarot readings for your North Node by sign and house. Now, if you're new to my channel, the reason I use the North Node in tarot readings, as opposed to your Sun, Moon, or Ascendant sign, is that it's recognized in astrology that your North Node is your North Star. It's what you're here to learn, accomplish, and master in this lifetime. So it's much more relevant to your everyday life and much more accurate in tarot readings. Now remember, you're going to want to watch two readings, one for your North Node by sign and one for your North Node by house. With that, I'm going to connect to the energies and we can begin. I call upon my spirit guides, guardians, and the wisdom of my ancestors to bring forth the information that's true and correct for everyone who sees and hears these readings, that it may bring them the most beautiful, happy life possible and set them on their most optimal future timeline. So may it be. Okay, Aries North Node or North Node in the first house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the Five of Swords upright. And the feeling of this card is I feel like all of you in one way or another are dealing with something that happened in the very near past. Something that could have happened over like this last December of 2025. And I feel like it's something that is of a critical nature where someone or some people, maybe a group of people, but I'm getting the vibe of like one person. There was an issue where some not too kind things could have been said, or something that not too kind could have been done, but it has the energy of kind of like unfair competition, or like when someone, it's like kicking a person when they're down, or if someone makes a mistake, rubbing it in their face or rubbing salt in the wound. That's the kind of like vibe that I'm getting. And I think that you're dealing with this, and for some of you, it could go back even further, and then this thing could be like resurfaced, like for example, something that happened with a sibling years ago and then it resurfaced. But for some of you, it could be something brand new, maybe something at work, right? And there's a reason why this happened, and we're kind of going to get into that right now, but it's something that was, you're still feeling the effects of the stinging effects. And as I said, we're going to get some more clarity looking at your timeline to see kind of why this happened and how it's going to play out. So your timeline cards, you've got the Strength card upright. You've got the Knight of Wands reversed. And you've got the Three of Pentacles reversed. So starting with the Strength card, this is talking about where you are this has put you with a feeling of vulnerability. And I feel like there are people around you that you do have support around you that are outside of the situation. And you're really feeling that need. You're feeling vulnerable. You're feeling like, the Strength card, we look at it two ways. We look at it from, the maiden who is subduing the lion, and which is indicating of our, our animal nature, our kind of like dark side. And then the lion itself can also be represented, with us, where it's like our kind of inner nature, our natural drives, right? And sometimes, we need both sides of that to be strong. And so this is something to where, you're feeling like a little bit deflated and a little bit vulnerable because of this situation. Now, the Knight of Wands reversed is again saying that this what's tied up in this is your self-esteem, that could, and that's what makes it really difficult. And so the situation has kind of stung a little. Okay, whatever this is, it could be, so as I said, something that someone said or did, right? And this Three of Pentacles reversed is, sometimes this is referring to work, and some of you this will relate to work. But on a larger and bigger perspective, the Three of Pentacles is about things that we're doing in the world and how it's perceived by others. So sometimes we're the observers, we're observing other people, but most of the time when this card comes up, it's we're the person doing something and we're being observed. And when it's reversed, it could be like, again, overly critical words and things could have gone down, where it's like you're being criticized for something that you did, or even like your beliefs or something within a situation, right? Now, the reason that this is happening is we're going to get some clarity here from your advice card. So you've got the Moon upright and you've got the Knight of Cups reversed. The Moon is telling me with this situation that there are hidden elements in this situation, but particularly hidden elements within yourself that are not discovered by you yet. Okay, so they're undiscovered. They are parts of you that still want to come out. So the moon is about things that are hidden from us, all right? But the moon, everything that happens at night and that is shadowed by night and the moon comes to light during the daytime. So there's always like the dawn. But at nighttime, it could be obscured from our knowledge and obscured from our consciousness. So there's parts of you that need to be discovered, okay, that need to come out. And part of this energy is, like I always talk about, when you have a North Node in Aries and or the first house, we're talking about becoming the peaceful warrior, becoming the strong warrior, but warrior that is the what I call the enlightened warrior or enlightened leader. And that's what you're here to discover. And how do we discover our inner warrior and our inner leaders? It's through training and going through things, right? If let's take a view of, let's say you were going to take a small yacht boat trip, okay, sailboat, and you had to cross the Atlantic Ocean. Would you rather go with a captain on the sailboat that was experienced, that did the trip before, that went through the storms and all of that? Or would you rather have someone that had only learned it from books and through nautical schooling, right? But they've never done it, right? Obviously, we would pick the more experienced captain. Well, in order to get experience, people in general have to experience things. They have to go through things, and they have to go through difficult times. Like, a warrior is only as good as the tests that he or she has endured, right? So what this is doing is, when you go through this is teaching you to say, wait, I deserve respect, I demand respect, I demand to be treated in a good way, in a positive way. I'm not going to put up with people overstepping their boundaries, right? So this is an ongoing thing that always comes up with North Node in Aries in the first house, until they finally, get it, until you finally step into that true power. So this is just another opportunity. We can look at things in different ways. We can look at an opportunity as like, why do I have to deal with this? Or we could say, okay, this is an opportunity for me to kind of step into my power. And that's all this is. Now, the Knight of Cups reversed is saying that what should motivate you is not your emotions, but what has to happen is it has to be kind of that inner fire. Like, for example, your emotions can get in the way into this. Why do I say that? When even, most of us, when we go through something, we're human, right? We go through something that is a conflict with another person, or someone has put us down in some way, right? We get emotionally deflated. And what happens with a warrior type person is they go through that same thing. Like, all of a sudden, oh my gosh, like, I'm in my feels. I've been emotionally, wounded in some way. And they stop there. Sometimes they stop there, right? But a true warrior goes through that and says, they use that as fuel and fire to say, no, no, you're not going to do that, you know. And so it's the difficult step of, you know, setting boundaries and standing up for yourself and standing up for everything about you. Because remember, I always remind my North Node Aries first house, this is a lifetime for you to honor yourself, to honor the self. And selfishness is not a bad word for you, okay? So selfishness is not in the same sense of what we normally think of that word. It just means that you must be honored in this lifetime. It doesn't mean that you abuse other people in a selfish way. It just means that if you don't put your needs first, if you don't put yourself first, no one else will. And so these kind of things will come up. But that's all this is. This is about you going through this experience, walking through it, and getting stronger from it. Just like that sea captain that gets on the sailboat that has been tested many times with storms and, you know, different tides and so on and so forth, right? This is a time for you to be tested. And you want to step into this because this is you opening up hidden elements of who you are deep inside and who you can be. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Taurus and or the second house. Okay, the theme card that popped out for you is the Seven of Cups upright. And when I saw this card, I immediately got the feeling that what's going on for all of you in one way or another is that you're at this point, the beginning of the year, you know, January 2026, where there's these emotional choices that you're needing to make in your life. It could be multiple areas of life, like relationships, health, work, friendships, different things, even, or like moving, relocating somewhere. There's different things for each of you, but I feel like there's at least one major area, if not more, that you're trying to make these, emotional choices, making a decision. And for some of you, I think that there is clarity to some extent, but a lot of you could be struggling with some confusion about it, like kind of not really understanding what choice or choices to make. And so that's what this reading's about. So you're at this point, and I think we're going to get some clarity on how this can really become more clear to you. So the timeline cards, you've got the King of Cups upright, you've got the Five of Wands upright, and you've got the Eight of Cups upright. So starting with the King of Cups, what is prompting this, and one of the things that you want to understand about making choices is that these choices need to be made on a personal, emotional level, coming from you in a pure way. What do I mean by pure way? Well, a lot of times when we are making decisions in life about things, a lot of times we tend to put how are other people going to be thinking about the choice that I'm going to make. Now, sometimes that's appropriate, where we have to take, like other people, like if we have like small children or whatever, and we want to make a choice, we do have to take into consideration how that's going to affect other people. But there's also the bad side to that, where if we shouldn't, every decision we make, think about how it's going to play out with those around us, where we're always making our life decisions based on other people. And so this has to come from a true place, in your heart. There's this, your inner self knows what it is you need to do, your inner self, but it can't be getting any sort of static from outside forces. And that's what this Five of Wands is saying, that the reason that there could be some confusion about making a decision is that there could be some kind of chaos around you within these situations, that it's like, well, maybe this isn't the right time, and or is there going to be some sort of a conflict if I make this choice or makes this decision. And so it gets confusing, because it's not like you can make a clean and easy decision in a clean and easy like pathway through it, because there is this kind of chaos that has to do with other people involved in the situation. Now, where I see it heading, and this is kind of what you really want to do, is you've got this Eight of Cups upright. You've got to make an emotional choice, but it has to be made after you put things in order, type of a thing. And the way you put things in order is say, okay, what is it that I'm truly feeling, and not feeling how other people are going to react to the situation, but what is your true inner self saying, finding like your truth about the situation. And I feel like ultimately what that means is, it means that you are going to be stepping away from what other people perceive that you should do, or that they don't want you to move in a certain direction. I feel like there's going to be this thing where ultimately the decision that you should make and the choice that you should make, this emotional choice, is going to involve like walking away from something. So what do I mean by that? That might mean that, let's say we're talking about a job or career change. You're trying to decide, do I stay here? Do I go into this new career? Do I get this new job or whatever? And your heart knows the answer, where you really think, I need to do this. This is a North Node Taurus, second house, bold, be independent. This is about independence as opposed to interdependence with other people. But at the same time, when you make this choice, there could be others to say, oh, why do you want to do that? Or, kind of talk you out of it. And so that what this is you are going to need to step out and step into your power in any of these decisions that you need to make. I feel like none of them are going to be where a decision where everybody involved is going to agree with it. And so that's why you have to go from the truest place within yourself. Now we'll get even more clarity. We'll look at your advice card. So you've got the Emperor card upright, and you've got the Three of Cups reversed. The Three of Cups, one of the meanings of this card is, like all the tarot cards have multi-layered meanings, but beyond of this as being like a celebration with people, the reason that the maidens have their cups, which is our emotions and hearts and things, why they're dancing close together and their cups are intertwined, because this is the emotional connection that we have with people in our lives, where it's good, but just like everything in the universe, there is an equal good or bad depending on how it's used and when it's used and so on and so forth. And so what what this is truly saying with it reversed is, it's saying that you don't want to do something that is based on a decision where you are closely emotionally tied to other people. Like, it could be confusing because there's other people around you telling you, oh, you should do this or you should do that. Whereas you need to follow your true heart. You are the heart of the bull, Taurus. This is about, as I said, independence and moving in the way you want to move, not in regards to kind of other people. And remember, the when you look at the second house, okay, ruled by Taurus, and then you have the eighth house, which is your south node. We're talking about the eighth house rules, other people's money, other people's opinions, whereas the second house is our self-esteem and our opinions and what we think and what we feel, right? And so that's what this is saying, is you don't want to take the road where you're looking at everyone else and what they think and feel. And then this Emperor, this is about, standing in our strength and in our authority. One of the things that the Emperor talks about is inner and outer authority. And in this case, this is talking about the inner authority. Okay, this is talking about what is it that I need to do for me. And, when you look at a ruler, you look at a king, queen, emperor, empress, okay, throughout history, yes, they have advisors, but ultimately the king or queen or ruler really makes a decision. I mean, I guess the best ones throughout history were based on what they truly felt. Okay, even they might take some things under advisement, but ultimately they're the ruler of their kingdom. And so that's what this is saying, is that when you make this move and you know what to do, even though other people might not understand it, but when you make it for you because you truly believe in making this move and making this decision, you're standing in your power, you're standing in your sovereignty. And that's kind of the key word. This is teaching you your worth and your sovereignty. And as you step into that power, it has the ability to completely transform your life for the positive. So yeah, big decisions, remember, stay within your power, within what you truly feel, and try to block out the static from things going on around you and what people's opinions may be. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Gemini and or the third house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the Six of Pentacles. Now, on the surface, just like all the tarot cards, they have like some basic surfacey meanings. This is a card about, giving or receiving, charity, things of value, Six of Pentacles. But the deeper meaning of this card is that there are many things that we have within us and in our life that are of value that don't have to do with money or possessions. And these are our time, our understanding, our love, our assistance in some way that is kind of helping, someone out in a non-monetary way. But this is also, yes, monetarily, where we can help someone out. There's like someone needs some money, that you loan them money or whatever, and we can be on the receiving end of that also. We can be receiving on someone giving of themselves. But the reason that this is coming up is I feel there's going to be an opportunity to do this, and it has to do with giving something that's of value within yourself. Now, why would this happen for, a North Node in Gemini or the third house? Well, one of the things that, the third house rules is it rules like close proximity of neighbors, siblings, okay, but people that are kind of close to us. You could say being neighborly, people that are not thousands of miles away, which would be like Sagittarius in the ninth house, but things that are close within our neighborhood, right, type of a thing. People, friends, connections that we have close by. And also both Gemini and the third house being ruled by the planet Mercury, which is the communicator, right? It's communication, it's dispelling information. So what I'm thinking is going on is there's an opportunity this first half of January 2026 where you are going to be given the opportunity to help someone in some way, to be neighborly. Now that could be, when I say neighborly, it doesn't necessarily mean a neighbor or even a stranger. It could be someone that is a close friend. It could be a family member. It could be in a relationship. But giving of yourself, giving of your knowledge and your time, and just, one of the great things that most of you have, whether you know it or not, is you're great puzzle solvers or problem solvers, because most of the people that have a North Node in, Gemini or the third house have this kind of quick mercurial mind, okay, being able to solve things. And a lot of times that it can be a great help to somebody. So there's going to be this opportunity to do this. And I'm going to tell you the reason why this is coming up and how it's going to play out. So you've got the Six of Cups upright. You've got the Seven of Wands upright, and you've got the Chariot card upright. So the Six of Cups here is talking about, this has to do with our emotional past. But I believe that this is talking about not only your past, but also like past lives. That one of the things that you are here to do and learn in this lifetime is almost like a big brother or big sister type energy, but in a good way. So when we think of like the perfect archetype of the older brother or older sister, because many of us have had experiences where we had an older sibling or a sibling in general that, wasn't great, but we're talking about the perfect archetype where the older sibling, teaches and nurtures the younger sibling. You could also look at this as like a wise uncle or aunt that helps their niece or nephew, but this is the kind of energy that I'm talking about. And look for an opportunity where you can be of assistance to somebody, because you have no idea that you have things inside you, advice or help in some way that can help, another person. And what this does is, I feel like the way this is going to play out is you're helping them to cope with something. When you see the Seven of Wands here, when it's upright, it means that, okay, a person's going through a challenge, but they're handling it. Okay. When it's reversed, not so much. They're going through something and they're not really on top of it or can handle it. But this is something where you're helping someone to get through something in their life so they can handle it. Okay. And so this is where this can really help the other person, is you're helping them in some way. How? With advice, with ideas, with sometimes physical help, or to get them through something. Okay, and it's going to be different for each of you, but look for something to where you can help someone get through something. This is part of your North Node path. Now, where it's heading is this Chariot, and what this is doing is, when the Chariot is upright, it means that you are moving forward in a positive direction. You're moving on your path, and this is setting you on a good course by being able to do this, because you are using your gifts. Everyone that has a North Node in Gemini and or the third house can really help people around them. They can be this neighborly energy, can be this helpful energy to those around them. And that's part of a big thing of your path, because, you don't realize all of the gifts that you have in you. And this is a way for you to express that. But when you do this, this sets you on your path, and it's very, positive as far as karma goes, right? Now let's look at your advice cards. You've got the Ten of Swords reversed, and you've got the Lover's card upright. So the Ten of Swords reversed is part of this issue of this person that's going through this, or people that you can help in some way. You're helping them to see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? Because when people go through things or they're in the middle of things, sometimes it's hard for them to see the end result. And that's one of the things that you're doing in this, is that you're using your mind, your words, your communication, your help in some way, in getting them to see that, okay, there's a way out. And when you do that, what you're doing is you're energizing your life. It's like a positive charge, where it's not that you're giving and not receiving, but it's like this reciprocal thing that's going on, right? And you're helping them, and the more that you're helping them see the light, it brings kind of more light into your life. But essentially, that's what you're here to do, is you're here to show them other possible ways out, because they may not be able to see it when we're in a very like difficult, challenging situation. Now, this Lovers card is interesting because the Lovers card, it doesn't always mean romantic partnerships or romantic relationships. It can be a card sometimes about self-love, but what it's talking about in this case is it's talking about attraction, okay, but not attraction in the way that we think of two people becoming attracted to one another, but almost like what we're talking about here is the law of attraction. So here's what I mean by that. As we refine ourselves as individuals and go through our life and we're following our path, we are attracting to us the positive experiences that we want in our life, and we are becoming attractive within ourselves. And as I said, not in a physical way necessarily, but we are causing this attraction to emanate from within us. And this is a very positive thing. So what this is saying is that you, as you do this and you're helping people through the power of your thoughts and ideas and care, this is attracting to you the positive karma, and also making you kind of like a magnet. Like that's what we're talking about with this, with this attraction, because it's like then more kind of good things come to you. You're starting this thing that can, as I said, be reciprocal and can go over and over and over again. The more that you are kind of giving of yourself, you're attracting that to yourself. So it's this very positive thing, and that's what this Lovers card is saying, is that you are making yourself more attractive to the universe as an individual, as a being. You're bringing this attraction to yourself with just being who you naturally can be. So it's a super positive thing for this first part of the year, and it's something to where it can really set you with this Chariot on a path that is very, very good karmically, and it can have these like effects, long-lasting effects through the whole year and through the rest of your life. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Cancer and or the 4th house. Okay, very interesting. The theme card that popped out for you is the reversed star card. And one of the things about the star card is it's positive in its reversed state also, but it's like something that's delayed, kind of like it's when the sun is out and the cloud cover, comes over the sun, the sun is still there shining, but it's being obscured. And the same thing with the star is that it's something that's deeply karmic that wants to come into your life in a positive way, but it could be like something that's delayed. And what I think that is going on here is I think that there's something regarding recent events that have happened in your life, and it's time to set things right. Like it's about or understanding why certain things happened, why certain events took place. And this is ultimately for you moving forward in a positive way and helping your personal karma. Karma just meaning, action, right? So about you want this positive action to come into your life. Let's look at your timeline. We'll get some more clarity. So you've got the Hierophant reversed. You've got the 4 of Wands reversed, and you've got the Three of Cups upright. This Hierophant reverse, this is about tradition. This is about traditional ways of being, traditional thoughts, our belief systems, okay? And then when it's reversed, it's breaking away from our patterns, breaking away from our traditions. And that's something that there could have been something recently where some of you did that. You broke away from an old pattern, but it may not have felt good in the moment or played out well in the immediate, at that immediate time. And so it's something to where maybe you stopped what you were doing, or it was like your action was kind of stopped because it wasn't perceived well. But it's saying that this was a good thing about you breaking away from, your traditional ways of being, your traditional thinking. All of this was positive. But you've got these two cards that are interesting because they're about celebration. You've got this four of Wands here reversed, and you've got the Three of Cups. And both of these are showing kind of a celebration in some way. You have the three maidens dancing together closely, and then you have this other card, the Four of Wands, it shows like some sort of a celebration, a wedding anniversary, something like that, holiday party, right? But it's reversed. And I feel like there's something that happened recently, and I feel like for a lot of you, it has to do with something regarding these past holiday, whatever holiday holidays that you keep. It has to do with your making these like changes, or maybe breaking away from a pattern, and it wasn't perceived well, and it might have stopped you from doing that. And ultimately, what this is doing is that it's keeping you from fully engaging with people at a close emotional level. Like maybe you did something that was breaking away from a pattern and out of character, but when it wasn't perceived well in the moment, it kept you from, going forward with it. And so what this reading is saying is it's good for you to break away from old patterns. Because, remember your South Node in Capricorn, or the 10th house, is about, structure, right? So breaking very stringent structures is very positive for you in this lifetime. And particularly when it comes like on an emotional and mental level. And so really what's going on here is this is saying to continue with that, continue to break away from old patterns. Don't let the fact that, you had a maybe initial negative reaction and it stopped you from keeping to move forward. Because I think that's what happened was you did something or said something that was maybe out of character and it wasn't perceived well. And a lot of times people do that and then they stop. And so you want to continue doing that. And I feel like there's going to be this opportunity in January to kind of continue breaking away from the old and moving into the new. And what this ultimately does is, as I said, it brings you emotionally closer together to not only people and relationships in your life, but also your life in general. Like we have a relationship with ourselves. We have a relationship with our life and our work and all of that, okay? We are in relationship with others and our own life. And so this is bringing you closer to everybody on an emotional level. So don't let that initial, whatever that was, that kind of kept you and maybe stopped you in your tracks. Maybe you said something and did something out of character, and then all of a sudden people are like, where did that come from? And then you got scared and like backed away. So continue breaking patterns, because ultimately it's going to be positive for you. Let's look at your advice card. So you've got the Four of Pentacles reversed, and you've got the Six of Pentacles upright. The Four of Pentacles, I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. This is about, when it's reversed, it's holding on to things, holding on to patterns, holding on to our old values and holding on to, you know, in its more negative aspect of kind of like not being able to break away from things that are surrounding us. And, you know, pentacles are ruled by, you know, Capricorn and the 10th house. And, you know, it's more than just money. As I said, it has to do with our beliefs, our values, everything that is in our life that's tangible and, you know, not tangible. And when you see this reversed, this person is just clinging on to old things, right? So what this is saying is it continue to let them go, to get comfortable with letting the old go. And what's going to happen is this is going to really, ultimately, it could feel like you're giving up power. That's how this can be perceived by your South Node in Capricorn or the 10th house. It's like feeling too vulnerable or giving up your power. And so you could see that there are two, you know, types of individuals here. There is this person that is the giver of help, and then the person or people here that are the receivers of help or feeling vulnerable, right? And so what this is saying is that when you continue to break the patterns within yourself and allow yourself to not get scared when they're not exactly perceived right away, you become less vulnerable and you will become the person that is giving of yourself. You're giving, you're becoming emotionally closer to people because you are not, you're stepping into the vulnerability, which is getting you to become into the position of the giver of help, you know, type of a thing. And so there's this switch that goes on when you do this, when you break away these old patterns and you're able to step more into your kind of emotional self. It not only brings you closer to those around you, but it does this thing where it flips you from feeling vulnerable to feeling like the one that has the power. Okay, but it seems weird at first because it seems like you will be too vulnerable, and so when you break these patterns, you feel like you're going to be the person that is vulnerable. But essentially, as I said, this happens where you just make this transition and this switch, and it's the only way you can feel it is by going through it and allowing these old ways of being and old ways of thinking and feeling to kind of, you know, break away, you know, and step into that new. And so it is really like kind of stepping out on the limb. There's a lot of trust involved, but you know, you got this. Okay, you can totally do this. Just remember that this has to do with ultimately your karmic path, and you have the ability to really change your karmic patterns by having the ability to shed these old patterns, right? So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Leo and or the 5th house. Okay, so the card that popped out for you is the reversed 3 of Pentacles. And I don't normally jump into the timeline cards this quickly, but I have to bring up this 8 of Pentacles here because they're both kind of related. The 3 of Pentacles and the 8 of Pentacles are about the work we do and how it's perceived. You know, the 8 of Pentacles, you know, would be, you know, our personal work, our personal creations in the world. And when I say work, it could be everything from work and career or to things that we want to create in our life. It could be the life that we want to work on and create. Okay, so it encompasses everything, all of our personal creations, whether that be work or career or other. And with the 3 of Pentacles, it's the same, but the only difference is with this 3 of Pentacles is that the person is being observed by these other people here. And so we could be like judged or feel like we're being judged, or we're being evaluated in some way. And, you know, this has both a positive and a negative effect, because obviously if we're doing good work and we're being observed by, you know, others like that are our supervisors, that's how we get raises and promotions, okay? That, but also it has a negative effect because it also has a connotation of, if we are doing things based on what we think other people want, and we're not truly doing it from, for ourselves, that's kind of a negative connotation. And so what I feel like this is that essentially all of you have something inside you that you want to expand on within your life. It's something that you want to create. It's something that you know that you have in you, and you've been feeling it for a while, but you're not quite sure how to kind of go through it and start to work on it, okay? But it's something that you're feeling inside you. And like I always tell all of my North Node Leos and or the fifth house is, every North Node Leo or North Node in the fifth house has internal gifts that they have to give to the world, things that can really bring them happiness and health and wealth, and bring a lot of things to the world. There are gifts that you have within you. And so that's what's coming up this January, is that it's about thinking about, you've been wanting to do something, or you have deep inside that there's something more. Even if you don't know exactly what it is you want to do, you know that there's something inside you that you want to share. And the way this is going to play out is, I feel like a lot of you are going to start to really hone in on what it is you're here to do, and get really specific about it, and be able to like move forward in it. So your other timeline cards after the Eight of Pentacles is, you've got the Page of Swords reversed, and you've got the Four of Swords reversed. Now the Page of Swords reversed is saying that you have already done the inner work of knowing that there's something inside you, but you haven't fully discovered what it is. And what you're being asked to do is, you're being asked to look further, to look deeper into yourself, in how this is going to play out, and how you can kind of find out specifically what steps to make. And part of that is this this Four of Swords. It's like you're coming out of this time in your life where it was a period of like, not necessarily stagnant, but it could be a very like stasis time, meaning that things were kind of at a kind of a standstill, or you were at this kind of just like plateau point in your life. And so you're coming out of that now. And what's happening is, when you come out of this, you're going to be able to see more clearly like kind of what's inside you. Now, one of the ways to bring this out is to really do, the other thing that this is saying is to really do some serious like inner thought meditation, where really think about, okay, like what's inside me, what wants to come out, what wants to be developed, what gifts do I have? Because you want to go from that kind of just longing of like, there's got to be more, and I know I need to do more in this lifetime, to where, how do I like hone in on it? And part of this this Four of Swords is saying, it's like, take the time to really like think about it, like go within, really think about it. And at the same time, once you know what to do, kind of start moving in that direction, And so it's about coming into action, but also having that kind of inner stillness to find out, okay, well, what's going on inside me? Like, what is it that wants to kind of come out? Your two advice cards are very interesting. You've got the Devil card reversed, and you've got the Six of Pentacles reversed. Now, the Devil card is like one of those so-called scary cards that I always talk about, that are very kind of misunderstood. And the Devil card is nothing to fear, just like death or the Tower. Okay, what they are is, we're talking about these deep archetypal energies that we're dealing with, right? Death is not talking about real death. The Devil is not talking about an actual demon or devil. What the Devil is it's about like fear, deep-seated fears and anxieties and obsessions. And one of the things that is a kind of a deep-seated fear is, for people that have a North Node in the fifth house and or Leo is the fear of being ostracized from people around them, from groups, from family, from friends, from organizations. And it's like this tribal fear. What do I mean by that? Well, if you look at your south node in Aquarius and or the 11th house, Aquarius rules like the collective, the group. Same thing with, the 11th house. It's groups, it's organizations, it's networks. Okay, but the way I like to put it into kind of a context is, when you look at in ancient times, we had people that lived in villages and tribes. And when they stayed within their territory of their village or tribe, the village brought safety and comfort. And it was very, very dangerous to venture off into new territories because there were other tribes and maybe they weren't so friendly, or there were other dangers out there. So being like leaving the tribal community or the village community was very dicey and dangerous, and it was something to be feared. Well, that kind of fear is what north nodes in Leo and or the fifth house come into this life with. Is they can't really put their finger on it a lot of times, but it's like the fear of breaking away from the norms of the group, meaning that, oh, I can't go out and do this and share my gifts, because how is that going to be perceived? So it's like a scary thing, stepping out, being seen, going out into the world. And so that's where this Six of Pentacles is saying, is that there's this comfort because the group feeds me comfort, right? And so we can see that, it doesn't necessarily mean that a person with this north node doesn't go out and do things, but there is this really underlying thing that if they break away too far from what's expected of them within the group, and if they stand out, like, well, what if I stand out on my own and people are seeing me for who I am and I'm not within that group thing? It's a very kind of fearful thing. And so I've noticed this with people that have north nodes in Leo or the fifth house, where they sometimes have the tendency to bury themselves within groups, within family units, within organizations, within other type of groups, where they don't want to break away and be seen. They just want to be part of the tribe, type of a thing. And that's what this life is for you. This is about breaking away and sharing what's inside you. And I feel like this January, you're going to be able to, something is going to happen to where you're going to see it more clearly. You're going to observe it. You're going to feel it inside. But the fear there is something that is very real. And just understand that that's something that you just have to kind of break away from, because everyone that has their north node, as I said, in the fifth house or Leo, has this gift or gifts that they need to give to the world, to get out there. And that's when they really find their fulfillment, when they're really sharing themselves. But it can be very frightening and very scary, because it requires them to be seen in some way and to break away from the tribe or the village. Okay. So anyway, yeah, please go for that. Grab those gifts that are within you and share them with the world, because that is when you're going to find your true fulfillment, when you start to really bring those out. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, north node in Virgo and or the sixth house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the Two of Swords reversed. And when I saw this card, I was thinking right away that it was like the word revealing, or a revealing was happening, where it was like your eyes are going to begin to see things about you and your life. Your intuition and heart are going to be able to be open, and you're going to, feel things in a more clear way. Why do I say that? When you look at this card, the Two of Swords, you have, the swords of the mind and the intellect held by the maiden, and she's crossing over her heart and her midsection. Okay, so the seat of our intuition and our feelings and emotions, and then she's blindfolded and has her back. Oh, so she's not seeing things in a physical way, but there's things that she's not able to see. And you've got the ocean, or this body of water behind her, which is about our intuition again. And this is reversed, and this is telling me that this first half of January, there's going to be this awakening within you about different parts of your life. And we'll get some more clarity on your timelines, but it's this awakening and reimagining of your life. Let's look at your timeline. As I said, we're going to see, we've got the first card is the High Priestess reversed. You've got the Star card reversed. And you've got the Eight of Pentacles reversed. Now, I feel each of these cards is talking about a different area of life for you. And so it's going to apply to, some of them are going to apply to all of you. Maybe a few of them are going to apply, to some of you. Okay. But these are different aspects of your life. The first part is what you're becoming awakened to with this High Priestess reversed is your own inner power. And the High Priestess doesn't necessarily, we're not talking about, sex or gender roles, okay? The High Priestess can be both male, female, any gender. But this is a card of personal power. But it's a power that is an internal power. That's the power of the High Priestess, is her intuition, what she has inside of her, her imagination. All of that is something that is can be made tangible in the real world. And a lot of you are going to become awakened to aspects of yourself that is your personal inner power. This is about you awakening to that. And I feel this first half of January is going to, help this to happen. Now, the Star card reversed is talking about your karmic path. And again, part of this awakening is your karmic path is going to become more clear. Some of you are going to see it very, very clearly about where you need to go as far as your life purpose and your path. You're going to start to, now remember, we never see the full path from start to finish, but you're going to see a direction. And then what we need to do is we take some steps, and then we get some more, clarity, and then we move on. Okay. We don't see the full path. We just see a direction. And then a lot of you are going to start to see that. And as I said, the karmic path is something to where this is your path to fulfillment, to feeling happy and fulfilled. Some of you are going to start to understand that more and see that more, and it's going to become very clear. The other thing is you have work and career, or your creations in the world. A lot of you are going to begin to see where it is you want to make changes, what direction you want to go in that regard, in work and career, or in what you want to create. This also has to do with our life. You see the craftsman working on this bench here. But remember, pentacles rule everything of value. And this could be, our working on our lives, on putting them together. We all have done that in different times where we say, you know what, I need to work on this part of my life, or I need to work on my life in general. And so a lot of you are going to be getting more clarity regarding, all of these, some of them or all of them. But ultimately, as I said, it is stepping into your personal power. Now, what do you have to do within all of this? Well, your two advice cards are, you've got the Nine of Cups upright, and you've got the Empress card upright. So the first thing you want to do is the Nine of Cups is called the Wish card. Is in order to bring something to fruition in our lives, we have to have dreams and desires. We have to be emotionally connected to it. So we have to have wishes and desires, right? But we have to know what they are. And so part of this is saying, okay, what is it that is truly within you? What is it that you feel super connected to emotionally? Whatever that is for you. Are we talking about your personal development, the high priestess? We're talking about the star card. Is it your path in general? What are you connected to? Or work and career, or your creations in the world, okay? But part of that is dreaming. It's like wishing. Now remember, this is where your south node in Pisces or the 12th house really comes into play, because you have this natural talent of the ability to dream, okay? And that's what this card is. It's the wish card or the dream card, bringing those dreams into reality. But the first part is, in order to bring a dream into reality, you have to have the dream and be connected to it emotionally. Now, the other thing that's going on here is the Empress is related to the High Priestess, because this is about, again, you have to, in a practical way, step into your power. You have no idea. Everybody that has this North Node, even, a lot of you have had really, really difficult road in past lives, and also maybe early on in this life. But you have no idea that the inner power that you have. And so what this is saying is that you could look at the High Priestess of like your natural, gifts and talents and your inner power that you came into this life with from your South Node, Pisces, or the 12th house. You came into this life, and then the Empress is saying, now bring that into physical reality, because that's a big part of your life when you have that North Node in Virgo or the 6th house, to bring the things that are not of the physical world, bring them into the physical world in a practical way. And so that's part of stepping into your power, is to bring this into this incarnation, to bring this in. And but again, the first step is to wish it, to dream it, to understand it, be connected to it, and then bring it in. And when you do that, that is when you're stepping into your power. And I feel like this is really exciting for everybody that has this North Node, because it's time. It's time. And remember, it doesn't always, it's not going to happen all at once, but you just have to take these initial steps of what I talked about. First of all, understanding it, but these openings are coming up within you. You're beginning to see things more clearly. You're beginning to feel things, and just take it step by step. But remember, bringing things into the physical reality that are inside you is a key aspect of this lifetime. And so, yeah, this is a great time to do it. So, yeah, very, very powerful reading. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Libra and or the 7th house. Okay, the theme card that popped out for you is the Magician card. And I feel like this first half of January 2026, there's an opportunity for you North Nodes in Libra and or the 7th house to bring out some of the gifts that you came into this life with. One of the things that you were born with, because of your South Node in Aries or the 1st house, that South Node has a lot of passion, drive, and energy, but there are also talents there. Like, one of the things that you are here to do is share your knowledge, and share your time, share your gifts with those around you. And in your past lives, most of the times when you have this South Node in Aries of the 1st house, it was used as a means for your own benefit only, or first and foremost. And there could have been some benefit after but first and foremost, it was for you. And what I'm getting now is a lot of you are discovering talents that you didn't even know you had, or you're getting interests that you didn't know you had. That's what the magician is. It's a multifaceted person. But the feeling I'm getting is it's about using those to help somebody else. It's like that enlightened leader. When you see like the perfect archetype of a leader who has, inner power, but is also super connected to those around them. Let's say if they own a company, right? And those that work for them. This leadership role is something to where they become a mentor to those around them. They're not just, giving orders and expecting people to follow them, but they're mentoring them. And I feel like, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You don't even have to be a business person. You could be a stay-at-home parent. You could be working at any sort of a career or job, or have no job at all. But what you're here to do is you're here to share part of your talents. And this is really coming out big time in January. Let's get some more clarity here. We'll look at your timeline card. So you've got the Five of Pentacles upright. You've got the High Priestess upright. And you've got the Knight of Pentacles upright. So this Five of Pentacles, this is showing that there are people out there that have a need. You can see that these people are, trudging through the snow. They have injuries. There's people out there that are struggling. And what this window signifies, this glowing gold window, is showing a refuge. Okay. And what this is indicating is that there are people in this world that can act as a refuge for others, meaning that they can be a place where people can get assistance or get a hand up, and they can, the refuge can be in a way of sheltering them and helping them in some way. So people can play this role. And I feel like this is one of the things that a lot of you don't understand, that you have this gift. Even if it's just like being there, being strong for somebody. And remember, your path with Libra in the seventh house rules the other, whereas the first house in Aries rules the self, right? And so now you're using your power to be this refuge, okay? Now, how this is going to play out is this High Priestess here, the funny thing is that this may sound very easy and, cut and dry and very straightforward, but it's a tricky thing. And here's what I mean by that. When a person with this North Node in Libra or the seventh house, when they begin to share some of themselves, okay, in different ways, when they begin to share and they help others up, there could be this initial reaction where it feels like then there's not enough for you, or you're weakening yourself when you become a helper to others. Or it's kind of like, think of like if you have some people that are, going on this trek, and they're like running away from whatever it is, like, a flood or something like that. And you have these warriors, right? And the warriors are like, these people are slowing me down. And, so it can seem, this is the kind of energy, it seems like, when you stop and help, or you feel like you're giving too much of yourself, it's diminishing you. But actually quite the opposite happens. What happens is, as you begin to lift people up around you and share your strength with them and work with them and mentor them and help them. And as I said, it doesn't matter what you do in the world or what your age is or whatever. This is one of the roles that you have in this lifetime. When you do that, you actually strengthen yourself. You actually refine, who it is, and you deepen this person that is you. And so this is part of the gifts. But the weird thing is a lot of times it seems like, when we share part of that, or we're giving too much, it's like, well, there's not enough for me. But as I said, it's actually quite the opposite. And then it's interesting, you have this this Knight of Pentacles. The end result of that is it acts like a stabilization point, because, you know, when you look at the knights, they're all on horses. Knights are cards of movement, but the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest of all the knights, but not in a bad way. It's slow and steady wins the race, but there's this stabilizing factor. And so what you're going to begin to notice when you do this, if you can get past, you know, sharing of yourself and your time and your gifts, if you can get past that, it's not diminishing you, you step into your power. And what this does is this stabilizes your life and those around you. It's this kind of stabilizing factor, which is a huge gift. I mean, who doesn't want stability in their life, right? And so that's kind of one of what the end result is. Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the Hermit card reversed, and you've got the Four of Cups reversed. So starting with the Four of Cups, one of the things that you're being asked to do, this is reversed, right? But this is telling you that you have to recognize the opportunities when they arise in order to, because what happens a lot with this North Node is you can focus sometimes on the wrong things and you miss other things. So it's because you were given this drive and this focus naturally, you could miss things. So what you have to do is you have to actively seek and understand when you can use these gifts, when you can lift people up. And it's something that you can easily miss if you're not kind of paying attention. But what you want to do is you're going to feel it emotionally. So if you're going, you know, through your day, through your week, your month, and you come across a situation where, you know, a person says, oh yeah, I have, you know, such and such, this happened and that. And for a split second, you know in your mind, oh, well, they could do this, and this is like my idea of what they should do. And it kind of touches you emotionally. What you could do, which is easy to do, is you could kind of just like slough it off and say, well, no, because I've got like all of this other stuff on my plate, and, you know, and you could just like, but you're going to feel it emotionally. And so that's what you have to like recognize the opportunities when you can, you know, reach out and be there. Because as I said, one of the things you're doing this lifetime is not only being strong for yourself, but being strong for others. And being strong for others is what makes you stronger and stabilizes your life. And then this Hermit card reversed is interesting. When the Hermit is reversed, one of the things, you know, people say, oh, sometimes it's like a lack of wisdom. But one of the other deep meanings of this is, what does the Hermit do, right? The wise man or wise woman, they climb to the top of the mountain to live in a cave and meditate. They're a hermit, right? They retreat into the cave in order to gain the wisdom of the universe, right? Now, at some point in time, what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to be of some use to the world. So the hermit has to come out of the cave and come down the mountain and live amongst the people. Okay. And so that's what this is saying is that, you know, you've gone to the highest mountain, you've been the hermit, you've been the lone wolf, you've been strong, and you've gained all of these things. Now it's time for you to climb down the mountain and live amongst people in order to share those gifts. And as I said, when you do that, it's going to have two amazing effects. It's going to make you, refine you as a person. You're going to feel this refinement. You're going to feel more fulfilled, and it's going to stabilize your life. So yeah, this is a great reading. Like, really share what's inside you in little ways and big ways, any way you can. If it's just like lending that helping hand, you're supposed to be the strength and show people the way in a lot of different things. And the funny thing is that when you do this, you will be also given strength in very, very high quantities. So yeah, very, very positive for you. And as I said, this is part of you growing into the highest version of yourself. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Scorpio and North Node in the 8th house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the King of Cups reversed. Now, all of the court cards, so we call the King, Queen, Knights, and Pages, we call those the court cards. They can be actual people in our lives or represent us, as people, or they could represent, overall energies and energetic themes. In this case, when I saw this card, I automatically knew that this, gave me the feeling of an actual person. And it's not you. I didn't feel like this is talking about you, North Nodes in Scorpio and or the 8th house. I feel like there is this first half of January, there is a person that's in your life that is either in your life right now, which is most likely the case, or will kind of come into the picture that is kind of emotionally unstable in some way. Now, not necessarily in a dangerous way, but someone that is just maybe emotionally confused, or there could be a lot of, drama surrounding this person. And the way it's going to kind of resonate with you is it's going to be like, oh, this is like drama. I don't need this right now. And it's a person now, the person could be either male or female or any gender, because the court cards are not sex or gender specific. But it's an energy that is almost like a person that maybe could be even emotionally manipulative. Okay, so that is a form of emotional instability. But anyway, it's going to be a person that you're not going to want to deal with, but maybe have to deal with in some way. Okay, now who this person is in your life, for each of you, it could be different. It could be, for some of you, close relation, someone in your own household, someone close to you. It could be a friend. It could be someone at work. Okay, so you're going to be able to recognize this. But again, like I said, it's something that is emotionally difficult, and it's kind of triggering, to you. And you're not going to feel like you want to deal with it. Now, let's look at your timeline card. So you've got the Knight of Wands reversed. You've got the 7 of Cups reversed. And you've got the 5 of Cups reversed. The Knight of Wands, the energy of this person, just so you can identify them more, is something to where it's the type of person that we've all had to deal with, where being around them like sucks our energy away. Okay, so maybe not a full, fledged emotional, vampire, energetic vampire, but there could be some emotional manipulation in there. Okay, but what the feeling is the way we recognize these people is how they make us feel, how they make our energy feel. And this person is like, it like draws energy. This card is showing it like it feels like it's like a type of person where you don't want to deal with them, type of a thing. So that's how you know who they are. But a lot of times we have to deal with people like that in our lives. Like if that's someone that's really close to us, that lives with us in our household, we just can't blow them off most of the time, right? Or if it's like, a boss at work or something like that, right? So we have to deal with these people at some point. And as I said, the way you recognize them is that it's like it feels like an energetic draw from you. And it's like it kind of brings your energy down. So we're going to get on how to deal with this, but that's how to recognize it. Now, the 7 of Cups reversed is saying that this is stemming from the person is emotionally confused. Okay, the person, it might, they're not seeing things clearly in their own lives. And as I said, I feel like you have to deal with them. Um, where what this is stemming from is that they are focused too much on one thing. Like they have their emotional perspective is a little bit off. And that's what this Five of Cups is saying, is that they may be making more of an issue of this than it really is in reality. We all know people like that, right? Where it's like, making a mountain out of a molehill, or, making something more than it is. But nonetheless, it's still something that affects us, because they are, as I said, emotionally, unstable. Now, what your role in all this is that your initial reaction, as I said, is to just like walk away and get away as far as, away as you can from that person. But sometimes that's not practical. The reason that this is coming up is because this is training you in order to dive into this North Node in Scorpio, or the eighth house. The Scorpio rules and the eighth house rules very, deep psychological issues. It rules, like psychology, therapy, um, things that are hidden, things that most people don't want to deal with. And so this is something to where it's coming up because, you are kind of being forced to deal with this. Now, there is a way out, and the way to deal with it is pretty clear here. So let's look at your advice cards. You've got the Justice card upright, and you've got the Five of Swords reversed. Okay. So all the five cards, when they're reversed, are better than when they're upright. Okay, so this is something to where this person can be triggering to you, because it can could make you be a person that you don't want to be. They could kind of draw you in not a very practical way. And what you're being asked to do is, with this Justice card, is you're being asked to, in a non-partial way, be a detached judge in the situation. Okay, sit there and help them and walk them through this, but in an emotionally detached way, because swords rule all of the air signs, including, Aquarius, which is being detached. Okay, and that's what you want to do in this situation, is you're helping them and you're dealing with them in a detached way. And you want to make sure that you don't allow them to kind of draw you fully in. That's the difficult part of a North Node in Scorpio, or the eighth house, is it's walking that fine line. Like, if your path is Taurus, which is your South Node, but if you were a North Node in Taurus, or the second house, it would be like, walk away from drama. This is not your circus and not your monkeys. Walk away, get out of there, right? But with your North Node in, the eighth house or Scorpio, it's like, no, like, we have to figure out this circus and whatnot. But you have to walk this fine line of not getting completely absorbed and overtaken with other people's drama and situations. And that's what this is saying. So essentially, this is coming up because you're being asked to dive in, investigate, make sense of it, because you have the answer, but walk the fine line and not let it kind of drag you in without, having any sort of bearings to hold on to anything, right? So this is saying, just kind of stay emotionally detached. And when you do that, what happens is that this is you following your best path, because you can be of huge help to people. Remember, Scorpio in the eighth house rules, as I said, psychologists, therapists, all of that. And you, whether you know it or not, have a natural gift to help people, even if not in a non-professional way. Someone close to you, a family, one of your children, a spouse, or whatever. You have the ability to do that. But as I said, the tricky thing is don't allow it to overtake you. You have to keep a little bit of emotional detachment so you can stay level-headed, okay? And that's what this is saying. Anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. See you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Sagittarius and or the 9th house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the 8 of Pentacles reversed. And yes, this is a card of, work and career. You could see the craftsman sitting on his bench working on the pentacles. But it's more than that. It's working on, it could be working on our life. It could be what we're doing, even if you don't have a regular job or career. It could be raising children. It could be if you volunteer somewhere. So even if you don't have work right now, but it's what you're doing on a regular basis, how you clean the house or how you do anything. So the work you do, because everyone, no matter whether you have a career or not, we do work on a daily basis for things, right? And it's reversed. And what I think is that there is something regarding that this first half of January here that is, it's getting you to, like there could be some sort of a criticism of something that you are doing or something that you've done, where you did your best in something and maybe it was brought up that it wasn't good enough for someone or some people, type of a thing. And really what this is that this is getting you to really trust in who you are, find your personal truth and your personal like self-esteem, regardless of what other people say. Because I'm feeling like, I mean, this could even be like envy, in a way, jealousy, something to that effect. So it's not like an accurate representation of what you did. Sometimes people criticize other people when they're envious of them, type of a thing. So what you need to do, what this is doing is it's showing you your inner truth. Like your inner truth is something that comes from within you. You don't get it from other people. You're not getting your self-esteem from other people. It comes from within you, and that's really what this is saying. Let's look at your timeline. We'll kind of get some more clarity on it. So you've got the Ace of Pentacles upright, you've got the 3 of Cups reversed, and you've got the Queen of Pentacles upright. So we'll take this Queen and this Ace. This is about what it is we value in life, what it is we value in ourselves. And I was thinking this really is talking to me about your self-esteem, what it is that how do you feel about yourself, how as opposed to how other people may kind of perceive you. And really, when we do this, this is about finding, as I said, our inner truth regarding this. You're going to be, when we sometimes get criticized, we don't want to necessarily take what they say at face value. That's not like who we are. Yes, of course, we take correction from people and we take advice from people, which is normal. We don't have, overly inflated egos. But at the same time, the end result is we have to run it by our inner truth serum within us. Okay, is this true, or is it not true? And that's kind of what this is showing. Is it's like, do you have the ability to look inside yourself and find out, like, are they right about this, and are they right about what it is that I'm doing? And see, that's where this 3 of Cups reversed is. The 3 of Cups is a very kind of mysterious card, because on the the face of it, most people think, okay, it's about, we're celebrating, the maidens are intertwining their cups, but it has much deeper meaning than that, because the negative side is that we can get so entangled emotionally and mentally with people around us that we can't find ourselves. That's why the maidens are, it's like they're almost like one person, right? And what this is stemming from is your South Node in Gemini, or the third house, okay, which is about your relationships and communications with other people that are close to you, as opposed to finding your personal truth. And so what can happen a lot of times is we become so intertwined emotionally with people that we lose ourselves, we lose our inner truth. And what this test here is that when it comes up is, it's something for you to find out if you going to let other people tell you who you are or tell you your value, or are you going to look inside yourself and say, wait a minute, I know who I am. I'm going to tell myself what my own value is. I don't need other people to kind of tell me that. And that's really how this is supposed to play out. But essentially what it is it's to find your truth, and also to find what it is you value, in yourself. Let me give an example. So if someone, you do something, it could be in a work situation, it could be in some other type of situation where you do something and do some sort of work, and someone criticizes it or say, why didn't you do that? Now, you don't want to sit there and just take what they said and like feel bad about yourself and say, oh, okay. You want to like look at it and say, okay, but also you don't want to just disregard it and say, because they may have a good point, right? So what you have to do is, this is about finding your inner truth. Someone comes with an issue or some sort of a criticism, you run it through your inner truth teller, okay? Because that's what you have with your North Node in Sagittarius of the ninth house. And you say, okay, do they have any validity in what they said? And you try to be as honest as you can, with yourself. And when you do that, what you're doing is you're checking in with your truth and your values. And so if they have a point, you might make corrections and say this. If they don't, you disregard it. But what can happen is, if we take at face value everything that people tell us, it can eat away at our self-worth and self-esteem. And so this is about, as I said, you finding that inner truth within yourself in order to kind of differentiate between what it is reality and what it is that people, might want you to think, okay? Now, your two advice cards are, you've got the Wheel of Fortune reversed, and you've got the Knight of Wands reversed. Starting with the Knight of Wands reversed, what you want to do is you want to check in with your energy field. So part of your inner truth teller is you're not trying to figure it out through your mind. So information comes in, okay, in the form of like criticism, and you're not trying to figure it out just with your mind, but now you run it by your energetic field, internally. How is it making you feel? Is it resonating? Do they have a point? So you don't only use your mind, you use your emotions, you use your inner truth teller, which is down in the solar plexus, this whole area we have. Because some people just go from their head and they're like, really? Wow, they think that? And it could be totally unfounded because they didn't really find that truth out. But you have that gift already. You have that inner truth serum that you can kind of test things by. So that's the first thing that you want to do is check in. And then the other thing with this Wheel of Fortune reversed is that I feel like a lot of you can, when you pass this test, this is like literally turning your wheel forward and upward. Like the effect is, the first time that this happens and you check in with your inner truth, your inner self, and find out what is your truth regarding any situation, what it's going to do is it has the ability to kind of turn you in a new direction, in a positive direction. Basically a change of fortune for the positive. Okay, so you're going to be making these changes, but they're going to set you on a better path. And that's how important this is that when you allow yourself to really check in with yourself and figure out what is, fact from fiction, what is your truth, it can literally like transform your life and kind of put those fortunes on the way up. So yeah, very, very powerful stuff here. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Capricorn and or the 10th house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the Queen of Cups reversed. And I feel like many of you have been feeling like just kind of like off emotionally, and it hasn't, like, it's like there's some like missing piece of the puzzle emotionally that's not quite there, and you're trying to kind of figure it out. You're in this place right now, as I said, emotionally, where you're searching and trying to kind of find the answers. And I feel like, in January and through the first part of the year, these answers are going to start to come to you. But it could be just one small part. Like, you could have really great things going on in life, but one small part emotionally is kind of like a little bit off. And this reading kind of explains it. Let me dive into your timeline cards. We'll get some more clarity. You've got the 10 of Wands reversed. You've got the 3 of Cups upright. And you've got the 4 of Wands reversed. So this 10 of Wands is, it's talking about whether we are able to like take on burdens or whether we need to take burdens off of us. And one of the things that I'm feeling is many of you could be feeling part of this emotional kind of thing that's going on with you is like burdened emotionally, or you feel like overburdened emotionally in some way, and you feel like you want to like shed something. It's like you're like carrying something that you need to lift off of you, and it could feel kind of heavy, and you can't quite put your finger on it, but you just kind of like feel it. And that's one of the things that you're working toward, is to kind of figure out what this is. Now, the 3 of Cups here is saying that one of the ways that you are, the reason you're feeling this way is because you're looking to others close to you to kind of help you figure this out. Like, it could be a close friend, someone you're in a relationship, a work mate, or a relative, something to that effect. And you're looking to maybe more than one person to kind of figure it out, because that's one of the gifts you have, is this, like, the ability to emotionally connect. Okay, that's part of your South Node in Cancer, or the 4th house. You do have those gifts. But in this case, the answers aren't going to come from those around you. And so it's kind of like something to where this is saying that this is not going to help you. Okay, so, but your natural like instinct is, well, let me just check in with those around me emotionally. Maybe they can help me kind of figure it out. And essentially what this is this 4 of Wands is you desire stability. The 4 of Wands is about, yes, it's about like celebration, but the deeper meaning of this card has to do with the numerological value of 4. We think of 4 as like the 4 corners of a table, 4 corners of a house. It's a stable structure, and that's what you're seeking, is stability, structure, and also safety. Okay, those are some of your deep desires, which we all have, but especially people that have North Node in Capricorn and or the 10th house. And the way you're going to find that is not how you think you're going to find it. And so that is one of the things that could be underlining, like maybe some of you don't quite feel like fully safe and protected and secure, right? Because that's one of the things about your North Node is about seeking security. Here's the thing. It's going to come, but it's going to come through you taking a different action and a different path, which we're going to get into right now with your advice card. So you've got the Magician card, okay? And you've got the upright, and you've got the Two of Swords upright. Your normal way of being is to tap into your natural gifts of your deep emotional intelligence, okay, that you all have. Anyone that has a North Node in Capricorn and or the 10th house has deep emotional intelligence. But just like everything in life, there's a balance. And your emotions don't help you in this instance, okay? Because what you want to do with this Two of Swords is you want to cut off your emotions from this situation. And so what you want to do is you want to go into your problem solving mode, your puzzle solving mode. So how to figure out what's going on with you emotionally is not to use your emotions, is to look at it like from a very kind of detached, almost like a mathematical problem, okay? So that may seem kind of strange, but like follow me on this, right? So if someone is emotionally distraught and they have emotional confusion or there's something not quite right, how are they going to figure out those emotions using emotions? Because it's just kind of like this looping pattern that goes over and over. When a person, let's say, goes into a therapy mode, right? So they have some emotional issues they're trying to work through, right? They go to a therapist or a psychologist. The psychologist doesn't use emotion to help them figure out their way. They don't. What they're doing is they are detached. They try to get them to see things in a different way using, problem solving skills, their mind, their other things, their intellect, lots of other ways, right? And so that's what this is saying is that the Magician, is telling you that you're going to figure it out through your problem solving. And your problem solving will not only help you figure that out, but it's going to give you an answer that is going to bring you to a better place. So here's what I mean by that. Let's say that, a person has this North Node and they've been feeling kind of somewhat off emotionally. They don't know what's going on. And so they begin to okay, I'm going to detach from this. Let me try to figure this out in a way that's just through my mind, like a problem solving. Let me get a piece of paper out and say, okay, I'm feeling like this. Why am I feeling like this? And they start making, lists, and they're looking at it in a very analytical way. By doing that, that's what this is saying, that this is going to help you figure out your path. And more than that, it's going to give you deeper answers of where to go, like using your logic. Now, this is tapping into that Capricorn, very practical, nose to the grindstone, no fluff, just getting down to business, right? The 10th house in Capricorn. This is your North Node. This is why this is a training for you, because the answers that are going to most help you are going to be found in using this method. So one of the things that we find when we look at Cancer or Capricorn North or South Node is we see that they're looking for security and stability ultimately, and both emotionally and physically. But the way that they get to that is they actually have to be their own parent, their own boss. They have to be their own psychologist and therapist. And that's what that means, is that They're playing both roles. You know, this is very common when you see like a North Node in Capricorn or North Node in Cancer, where they may have to take on the role for themselves of the parent that they never had. They may have to take on the role of the therapist and psychologist and to figure out their life. And in this case, what I'm seeing here is that when you approach your problem, like taking emotions out of it and just thinking about it logically, like if you were giving yourself counseling, imagine that. So you look at your problem and you look at it logically. And what if you had to give another person advice on that? You wouldn't approach it from an emotional way. You would say, well, let me look at all the facts here. You lay everything on the table and then you figure it out. So the deeper meaning of this reading is figuring out ways where you can be what it is you feel you lack in the world. And when you don't realize, the other deeper meaning of this um, magician card is saying, like, you have the talent, you're multi-talented, multifaceted. And that's one of the things you do see with Capricorn, Cancer, North Node, or South Node, is they're multi-talented, multifaceted, but they can play different roles in their lives for themselves and for others. So yeah, really, really powerful. Essentially what this reading is saying is that you're going to figure out things emotionally for yourself by detaching and looking at things logically and becoming your own therapist and psychologist, but looking at all of your situation in a very kind of detached way. And you're going to get answers there. You're going to get a lot more answers than you think you'll get, and it could really have a positive effect in your life. So anyway, I hope this reading is helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Aquarius and or the 11th house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the Moon card upright. And I feel like that this first half of January, there is a hidden element in your life that you aren't fully aware of, but it's going to kind of come to light. But when there are things that in our life that we don't quite see clearly, what ends up happening is it's like this question mark. Like, we might be going through things, you know, like in our life through relationships, through, you know, mentally and emotionally, different at work or whatever. And when we're not seeing the full picture, or there's like these hidden elements, it leaves this like question mark, and it leaves this like kind of, I don't know, like almost like a strange feeling overall. So there could be one or more areas of your life that you just feel, like there's a question mark, like what's going on there, you know. And it's because there's like you know, a hidden aspect to it that you're not seeing. And then once we learn whatever that hidden aspect, or the knowledge that we didn't know, you know, was happening, then things kind of make sense and we're like, oh, okay. But until then, it's like this question mark. So there may be parts of your life where you're just like, I don't fully like get this. Like, why is this happening? Or why is this person like this, or whatever? For each of you, it's going to be different. And so that's what this first half of January is doing, is it's helping you to kind of like understand and make sense of that there's these hidden aspects of your life that you just aren't seeing. And it's like about revealing those. We'll get some more clarity. We'll look at your timeline card. So you've got the High Priestess reversed. You've got the Two of Swords upright, and you've got the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Okay, we'll start with the High Priestess. Okay, so what is really hidden from you right now is that there's a part of yourself, and I'm seeing this interesting, I'm seeing this kind of energy a lot lately with a lot of the North Nodes, but there's an aspect of yourself that you don't understand is there. It's kind of like when people, like we've all had this happen where we know people where they don't understand all of their gifts or what they have to offer, you know, and it's like we might see it, other people see it from the outside, but like they don't see it. I feel like there's this hidden aspect of yourself that, you know, is part of the gifts that you came into this life with. It's like something to where this version of yourself that's right there that you can kind of tap into. And the reason that it's not being tapped into is it's this two of swords here, is that you may be looking at yourself in a very kind of one way, like almost like you could be looking at yourself through the eyes of others, or what people have told you about yourself, type of a thing. And so it blocks you off from kind of this inner intuition. But what I feel like is that this is changing for you, where I see that you really kind of going within yourself and realizing these aspects of yourself, these kind of hidden things that are going to kind of help you and like push your life forward in like a positive way. And when you understand these hidden aspects, it's literally going to kind of um, change basically, you know, your life course in a very positive way. And that's what this Wheel of Fortune reversed is saying. The Wheel of Fortune, when it's reversed, it's one of these cards that is also positive, but it's showing that, you know, maybe you've gone through this period of time where, you know, things maybe haven't been working exactly like you wanted, right? Again, we get to that whole question mark, like, why isn't this like flowing like I want? And so when this hidden aspect kind of comes up about you within yourself, you begin to understand, oh, okay, I understand why this trend has happened. And so you have the ability, when the Wheel of Fortune comes up, whether it's reversed or not, you have this ability to literally change your fortunes and to go in a more positive direction. Now, your advice cards are going to explain exactly how this is going to play out and what you need to do. So you've got the Four of Wands and you've got the Four of Cups. Interesting, two fours, you know, four being the number of like stability, and four being the number of not only stabilizing your life, but safety and like security. The Four of Wands is really talking about, yes, it's a card of celebration, but when this is talking about the inner self, we're talking about wands, we're talking about that inner fire and inspiration. And one of the things that you're all born with is you have that south node in Leo or the fifth house. You've got this inner fire, this resource that is within you. And in this lifetime, it might seem like, okay, do I need to be this person or do I need to be that person? And that's one of the things I've noticed with North Node and Aquarius. It happens like they have like two distinct paths, but you're actually supposed to be both. And this is talking about, you know, what's going to happen is, this is a card of, you see this is almost like a marriage ceremony. It's marrying the best parts of your south node with who you're supposed to be in your north node. So if you have a south node in the fifth house, north node in the 11th house, okay, you're marrying those two. South node in Leo, north node in Aquarius. You're marrying those two. It's the best of both worlds. Because what I've noticed is, a lot of times people think, well, I have to be this person or that person. And no, you have to be both. And so that's what you're discovering. The hidden aspect of yourself is marrying the best parts of your south node with your north node together. That's where the strength is. You have to, all of us have to kind of do that, especially for you. It's important. It's important to like realize that, you know, you have to use those gifts from the south node, but you can't overuse them. You also have to bring in what it is you need to do with your north node in Aquarius. Now, this Four of Cups here is saying that, again, you could see that this person is sitting here and they're staring and concentrating on these cups over here, looking kind of distraught and dismayed, but they don't see the hidden cup that's right there. Again, okay, so this is what's happening is this first half of January, you're beginning to discover parts of yourself that you didn't know existed, and parts of yourself that need to come together in a relationship, in a marriage, okay, with yourself, right? Marrying them together in order to strengthen yourself, okay? And this is part of your path of using the best parts of your south node with the north node. And when you do that, what ends up happening is your life gets very clear. And what the end result is moving on a path of like better karma, better fortune. And it's about really recognizing those aspects of yourself that are unused or untapped, because it can be very confusing when we're supposed to be like a whole person, but we're trying to be one type of a person as opposed to the other, right? And when you marry those two parts of yourself together, you say, okay, this makes sense now. And essentially that's what it is, bringing those two parts together in order to like move forward. And you don't see it right now, but you are going to see it. And I feel like the way it's going to happen is it's going to happen very organically. It could be almost like just a situation comes up and it just flows into it. And at the end of it, it could happen very quickly in a day, it could happen in a few hours. And all of a sudden it's like, you're going to see, like, you're going to be like, oh, I see that I need to be both of these things at once and not one or the other. And when it happens, it's going to be like, very powerful. But this is you bringing these parts of yourself together that are now kind of separate. And that's why you're kind of maybe feeling like there's these question marks, because you're choosing one over the other. But yeah, very, very powerful month for you. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value in it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd just like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings. Okay, North Node in Pisces and or the 12th house. Okay, so the theme card that popped out for you is the Two of Pentacles. Now, this card is interesting because it's got some very like deep meanings. Yes, it's about juggling. Like one of the things people talk about is like it's juggling finances because it's two pentacles. But let's go deeper in this, because I think that this is what this is really talking about. It really is at its core talking about balance, because you can see that there is this so-called juggler. He has one foot on the ground, one foot off the ground, which is indicating balance, right? And he's also got this body of water, like this ocean, where you've got these ships that are being, tossed and turned by the waves. But it's interesting because he's got this infinity, symbol here, right? And this infinity symbol here is referring to the universal energies. Everything comes back to itself. The tide goes out, the tide goes in. The sun rises, the sun sets. The moon rises, the moon sets. Okay, the world keeps turning. The solar system keeps moving. There's this. This is what infinity. One of the deep meanings of it is. But what this is saying is the deeper meaning of this card is that the universe is always seeking balance. And when this card comes up in a reading, it's like what we are trying to balance what is imbalanced within ourselves, within our lives. Because since we know that that's what the universe wants at its core, is it wants to experience balance. Why do I say that? I give this a lot with a lot of clients, right? Where I'll talk about, what is like life's purpose. But let's look at every nature show you've ever watched. Let's take humans and human, you know, communities and human civilization out of the picture. Let's just look at nature. All the documentaries we've seen on nature, from microorganisms all the way to mammals and plant life, right? If you have to take what that is at its core level, yes, it's survival, but beyond that, what it is it's about balance. The universe, nature is always trying to seek a balance. When one thing gets imbalanced, it seeks to balance that out. The same thing when we look at the cosmos with the, formation of stars and suns and galaxies and solar systems. Everything is seeking a balance. And so what we're here to do is seek a balance within ourselves. And so what I'm seeing for you for this month is that this new year, beginning with this new year, is where can I seek a balance in my life? Where can I balance out this with that? It may seem weird at first, because when we begin to seek balance, there could be some things that are out of balance. So it's kind of like juggling some things, right? But what we do when we do that is, when we begin to seek balance within ourselves and our life, we become a co-creator with the universe, what the universe wants. That's what the universe doesn't care if we're rich, if we're famous or beautiful or whatever. What the universe wants for everything, which is like the top level of everything, the universal energies. It doesn't matter if, you are a raccoon or you're a human. It wants balance. So we as humans, we're very unbalanced, right? So what we're here to do is balance what is imbalanced within us, right? And so what this is saying for this month is, this is about seeking a balance. Where can we balance the things that are inside of us and in our lives, right? Now, I think that we'll look at your timeline cards. There's 3 different distinct areas here. So you've got the Strength card reversed, you've got the Devil card reversed, and you've got the Four of Wands reversed. Okay. Starting with the Strength card. The Strength card is basically, at its core level, talking about, this isn't 2 different beings in essence. Yes, it shows a maiden, subduing a lion in a very gentle, loving way. But essentially, this is the 2 aspects of ourselves. Our dual nature that we all have as human beings, and of, physical beings, as mammals on this planet, where we have this dual nature that needs to be balanced at all times, and we need to subdue one part sometimes, but we can't, we also have to let the other part, take over sometimes. Okay, so we've got this dual nature. That's one of the things that wants to be balanced. Now, the next card on your timeline is the Devil card reversed. Now, as I always explain in all my readings, the so-called scary cards, Death, the Devil, the Tower, they're not cards to fear. We're just talking about archetypal energies. For example, Death isn't talking about literal death, and the Devil isn't talking about like the literal devil or a demon. But these cards have, deeper meanings, as I said. And what the Devil represents is, it represents like deep-seated fears, anxieties, and obsessions. And the other area of life that we need to balance, and this is talking about it for this month, is, our deep-seated fears and anxieties that we may have, or obsessions about things that, things that a lot of us carry, right? But a lot of you North Nodes in Pisces, or the 12th house, have these, because I've noticed that polarity, Pisces and Virgo, or, 6th house, 12th house, carries a lot of anxieties and fears, right? And so this is another area of life that is wanting to be balanced. And this is something that, this is positive because I see this happening more and more, about seeking a balance. Like, how can am I seeing this correctly? Am I being anxious over something that I don't need to be, anxious of? I know that I caught myself, like, because I don't have this North Node, but I have something kind of similar. I have like Pluto and Virgo, and that brings up. I catch myself all the time. I'll be thinking about things or creating scenarios in my mind, and totally realizing that I made it up. The anxiety I was feeling was something that I just totally made up in my mind. So I have kind of a similar energy to this. So this is something about, again, balancing these things that are imbalanced within us. And this is something that you're working on. The other area here is about the Four of Wands, reversed. Now, this is interesting because this is really talking about creating a stability or a celebration of life. Because what can happen a lot of times is with this North Node, we can kind of lose our way as far as what is important in our life. Like, what can happen is we can be focusing on these other serious issues, but we, you know, lose sight of the fact that, we need to celebrate life. We need to, like, really, that's an important part of life, is really taking stock of what it is we have of value, and looking at our life, like, not so much like it's always work or anxiety, but how we can, celebrate everything big and small in our life. And that needs to be balanced, making sure that we are, um, you know, keeping these attitudes of, wow, I'm so grateful that I have this in my life, and I like to. This is how we celebrate the positive aspects of our life that we have, and showing this kind of gratitude. And what this does is that when we do this, what celebrations really do is they stabilize. Okay, so when we celebrate aspects of our life, you might think, okay, well, what's the big deal? Why is that important? Well, think of it this way. Think of it as, like two people coming together that maybe don't see eye to eye, but they meet within a celebration, right? So let's say two people that maybe don't like each other that much, could be from two different families, whatever it is, right? But they come together at a celebration, a wedding, let's say, right? And in that union of being together in that celebration, they learn to find aspects of each other that they can relate to. Okay. And see, that's why this is important. It's important to celebrate aspects of our life, because it brings those parts together that we wouldn't normally appreciate. Okay. It's like those two people kind of coming together. And so I feel like that's what's happening this month. This is what it's all about: balance, balancing out these different aspects of your life. Where can I find more balance? Where can I find more kind of wholeness? Okay. And your two advice cards are kind of bearing this out. You've got the Knight of Pentacles and you've got the World card reversed. Now, the World card is one of those cards, like the Sun and a few others, that is positive in its reversed state. But what it's saying is that, the world that you want to create is right there, and you actually have the power to do it. You have the power to begin creating your own reality, your own world. But it's not going to happen automatically. Okay. It's there, and it's like right under the surface. It's kind of like, to illustrate this, let's say that you have a person that I'm going to take, this just popped into my head, okay? I've used her before, but let's take J.K. Rowling, right? She is a divorced mother who is on welfare, okay? And she, just before she starts writing Harry Potter, okay, the series of Harry Potter, you look at her world, okay, her world, the way it was right at that particular moment, didn't look great. But there was a seed of potential already within her. Even when she began writing, before she got the money and got published and all of that, that seed was there. That's what this is saying, is that there is in all of us, but especially you, there is a seed in there that is, it's not going to just all of a sudden pop out unless you do something about it. Okay. And it's like, if you were to take someone to judge her, she used to say that when she was taking, the train going to and forth, and she was a mother on welfare, a divorced mother on welfare, and she began writing Harry Potter. If you were to look at her and assess her, like, oh, this is J.K. Rowling, divorced mother of four. You meet her on the train, and you talk to her, and you were to judge her, you'd say, like, yeah, she's just a divorced mother, on welfare. Okay. But that person who's judging her doesn't see the seed inside of her. She probably didn't even see it inside herself. She just started taking action, and she started doing it. And that's what this is saying, is that the part of this balancing act is seeing, you don't know how close that world is. Literally, she changed her world. Like, if you take from the beginning of when she started writing Harry Potter, like you go 5-10 years after that point, it's like a completely different world. Okay. So what happened? There was something inside her that she just brought out. Okay. And so that's what I'm seeing, is that you have the ability to change your world, but it's not going to just happen, but it's something that you have to kind of dig into. And this is, again, about balancing, about finding that aspect of yourself. Now, the Knight of Pentacles is interesting, because this is a card of stabilized movement. Like, one of the things that we all seek as humans is we seek safety, security, and stability. All of us want that. Yes, we want fun and excitement and all of that, but at our core level, we want stability. We don't want to have to fight dinosaurs off one day, and then, we want to be able to have a stable life. And so what's going to happen here is that as you begin to balance out different parts of your life, you begin to realize that it has a stabilizing effect on your life that is super positive. And then that feeds into more balancing, because when we act from, an area of stability, and this is one of the gifts you may have, is you have some stability in your life right now, which is a gift, right? And you begin to build on that, whatever that is, you begin to build on that. It creates more stability, and again, a better outcome and a better future. So yeah, really, really positive reading, but very, very deep insights here. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful to you and you found some value, and thank you so much for watching. If you'd like a personal reading based on your astrological chart, or if you'd like to show the channel some love, there's going to be some links in the description box below. With that, I'll say thank you. We'll see you on some more videos. Many blessings.